Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Your Business Show. I am your host, Mr. Milt Walker, joined today by Mr. Tony Calloway. How are you today, sir? Good to see you.
Hey, good morning there, maestros. A beautiful Saturday here in Columbus, Georgia. And
Yes,
I
it is.
appreciate you getting us onto the Mind Your Business show. And I also want to greet all of you wonderful folks who make us an important part of your Saturday and an important part of your life. So welcome again to the Mind Your Business show. Maestro, what's been going on with you since I saw you last week?
Oh man, just really a lot of working on some projects, just some web development type projects and just pushing it and getting ready for today's show.
Hey man, I appreciate all the fabulous things you do and say, hey, I want to tell everybody this guy over here, we call him the maestro for a reason. He's the one who orchestrates all this great technology that supports the Private Money Syndicate. So if you need to get your technology right, you need to see Milt Walker at Silver Lining Consulting LLC. He can help you to do your website. He can help you with your cybersecurity, which is really important. And the guy's just a daggum genius, man. You just learn. I just learned so much from talking to him. So, and he's a great personality too. And I was just telling him, I said that, you need to get a little bit more light on him because, I need you guys to see his brilliant smile and handsome face because I think that helps our viewership, the like, the follows, and the shares. So show some love for Milt Walker, okay?
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure and it's all true. All right. Now, today's topic is turning your good credit into profits. Turning your good credit into profits. Now, I want to ask right now, if you have any questions about credit, if you have any questions about anything, please go ahead and load those into the chat so that we can acknowledge and make you an important part of the show. And because you are an important part. But getting to the topic, let's talk about, turning your good credit into profit. All right, so I'm gonna start at the back end of that. Now, whenever we talk about profit, we're talking about business, okay? So from the standpoint that the discussion today as it relates to credit is not consumer credit from the standpoint of you getting credit to go buy the new car, the new house, the new whatever that you would get with your credit card or any of that kind of stuff. I mean, all that is very important, but to the extent that we've all heard, Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman and stuff, and I agree, having been in financial services for over 28 years, most of my adult life, consumer credit takes away from your income to the extent that you're servicing that debt. And of course, it accelerates you being able to buy high ticket items, or a lot of times people will say conveniences too, like going out to dinner and putting it on your American Express or your credit card. But as a consumer, you don't want to carry much, or you want to minimize the amount of credit that you utilize because of the cost. Now, on the other side of that, going back to profit, in business and in real estate investment, credit is critical. Credit is the lifeblood of multi-billion-dollar enterprises, and it's also an important facet for you being able to grow, scale, and develop a profitable business or real estate portfolio as a person who wants to enjoy what capitalism is all about. See, the two C's I want you to relate now are capitalism and credit. All right, because credit is a new cash. That's another C. But for you to get in this game called capitalism, you got to be able to use credit to create cash. And when I say create cash from credit, I'm talking about that profit. So when we talk about the topic today of turning your good credit into profit, we're talking about taking credit and turning it into cash. And that's what you want, isn't it? You want the cash.
Absolutely.
So the conversation today is going to be about a formula, and I was going to do some PowerPoint slides. In fact, I was telling Milt when I did the show, I think it was 2 weeks ago on the proof. I said it was the first time I'd ever made a PowerPoint. It was kind of fun. I want to overdo it. I think I hit a home run on the first time. But the fact of the matter is that I think you guys will get the concept. So no graphics, just listen to me. But before I get deep into this conversation, I want to see if we have any folks joining us today, any shout outs to our loyal viewers, and there are any questions already. So, Maestro, who we got tuning in today?
All right, we got Edward Winton tuning in early today. He says, "Good morning, everyone." What's up,
That's my
Edward?
name.
Yeah, the man with the plan. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's it for right now. Everybody else is just watching,
All
so
right.
they're excited about another Saturday with the Godfather. So here we are.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you being here early. I call him Heavy D. He knows why. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out for operating in the black. They are our partner on the
Right.
business lending side. So everything I'm talking about today that relates to business. And if you guys come through the Private Money Syndicate, you will be getting a chance to meet in person, talk to the brilliant mind of Daniel Winton, and they do a fabulous job of finding money for our business clients. All right, so we started with profit. So we said turning your good credit into profit. All right, so now let's walk backwards a little bit further from profit. Listen, what is good credit? What is good credit? All right, now there's the relative, and then there is the specific. All right, relative good credit is if it's good enough for you to get what you're trying to get, then it's good is good enough. All right, now there's perfect credit. Obviously, a perfect credit score is 850. Okay, generally anywhere between 700 and 850 is going to have you deep into the green as far as being able to get any type of business capital funding that we're working with our clients to get. So let's just use 750 as the specific number. All right,
Okay.
because there are variables. Now I do want to educate you a little further because there are two things that operate functionally in the consumer credit realm that tend not to operate the same way in the business credit world. Now, in the consumer credit world, there's the FICO score, all right, which is that score we're talking about. And I'm saying 750 is the number. And now inside of that compilation, there's something called your credit profile. Now, your credit profile is all that history that's compiled, that's usually captured and retained over a 7-year period that goes into computing your credit score. But then there's some variable things that are like inquiries. Now, why people ask, does it affect your credit score if you're out there searching to find credit offers for you to purchase or whatever you're trying to do? Well, that's part of that profile. We've had clients who've had 700 plus credit scores who had filed bankruptcy, completed and paid off the bankruptcy over however many years they had to do it, but still is floating off into the distance over floating off into the distance over a 7-year period. So it still shows on the credit report, on that credit profile. So even though that credit score has recovered, a lot of lenders will look and say, oh, but you had bankruptcy, because it still shows up on a credit profile. All right. Now, coupled with in the consumer finance world, the FICO score, this thing called a beacon score. Now, if you hadn't heard of that before, beacon score is where the lenders take all these other things that are in addition to your credit history, and they use that to come to some type of assessment based on their own algorithm for underwriting. So some of the things that go into the beacon scoring are, and there are a variety of them, like what industry you work in, how long have you had your job, are you a homeowner, are you not, how many people are in your household. I mean, it could be a litany of other things that help them to assess the risk profile that you represent. So whether you have a 600 credit score or a 750 or 800 credit score, these other things either add to or subtract from your underwriting risk profile for that lender to do several things. One is to decide whether or not to issue a loan. And let's assume that the decision is to issue because you're within their risk band. And then wherever you float high or you sink low within that band determines the pricing as far as how much they're going to charge you in interest because of risk, and or how much they're actually going to lend you, because again, the amount of debt that they have out for you to service is going to be a determinant of the risk. The moral of the story here is all lenders, whether they're private or public, or traditional lenders, are risk averse. All right, they want to know two things: I'm going to get the money back, and
Right.
from that point, how much can we make as a return by lending money to this person? All right, so now I want you to take all that conversation and remember, this is you buying a car, you buying a house, you getting issued a credit card, that kind of stuff for your consumer purposes. All right, so now when we say turning your credit into profit, we come over to the business lending side. That FICO score, the best way I can describe it is it's kind of like a ticket to get into the ball game. Right? If you have the ticket, you get in. Okay. Now, from the standpoint, it's important but it's not entirely important, because all of us have probably sneaked into a club before, probably snuck into a ball game before. Y'all know how we do, right? All right. So from the standpoint,
I know
the
I did
FICO
it.
score, yeah, the FICO score can kind of legitimize you getting in, but unlike with the FICO score at a bank or somebody over there, let's say on the what would normally be considered the beacon score side, the private money lenders, I call it, are the common sense lenders. They look at what are your other factors that can help offset if you have a low beacon FICO score. So let's say that I talked to somebody the other day had a $200,000 a year income. That's their credit score is like a 660. Well, heck, that person, they make good money. They're probably a better risk than somebody who has a $50,000 a year income with a 750 credit score. All right. So from the standpoint in business lending, they look at your income, they look at your business income, they look at your profitability. For example, I used on one of the shows some time ago, if Milt came to me and said, "Hey Tony, could you loan me $1,000?" And he said, "Okay, well, what are the terms you're gonna pay me? I'll pay you back $100 a month." I said, "Okay, Milt, let me see your bank statements for the past 3 months." So I looked at his bank statements, and every month he's showing $500 at the end of the month, 3 months in a row, one time six, one time four, average $500. He's not bottomed out at the end of every month, starting back over again. So I can see where that $100 payment is going to come from. Okay, I see he can repay me. I didn't ask what his credit score is. I see that he's got money to pay me back based on his banking history. All right, now if I ask him that question and every month he's got $20 at the end of the month, I'm thinking, well, it's more risk now. He might say, "I'm going to take this $1,000, I'm going to go invest it in something that will be making about $500 a month, whatever." I can factor that, but then I look historically and I only saw $25. Okay. So you see the difference. Okay, I'm actually looking at his financial performance and activity to make decisions historically, and then also looking at this number, which in a relative sense says that he's been reasonably responsible. Now, also, private lenders look at the profile. They do get a little concerned when people have got a lot of inquiries in a short period of time because they don't know who else they've been out there pursuing credit with. All right. They also look and see if somebody had a bankruptcy, but more often than not, if that bankruptcy has been discharged and is off the books a couple of years, it doesn't matter. Whereas with the bank, if it's still showing period, they probably don't want to touch you. So when it comes to taking that credit and turning it into that business model, that perspective that you are taking this money to go into some business, some capitalistic activity, to invest it in real estate, which is obviously to make money. You get all the tax write-offs and all the other stuff associated with real estate, or to put it into a business enterprise where you're going to take that capital and leverage it and sell more of what it is you're selling, to be able to invest that capital into advertising and marketing so you can get your messaging out to the world, attract more client activity, to invest in staff and the infrastructure into technology that's going to allow your business to run more effectively and things like that. Even though that money comes with a cost, that's a cost of doing business that you look at. If your profit margin is 100%, your cost of capital is 25, then your net margin after servicing your debt is still 75%. I know I'm starting to get a little technical, but work with a brother, okay? All right. In other words, if you came into it all cash, you make that whole 100. But now if I've got to service the debt, see, that wasn't your money. So the fact that you invested somebody else's money, your cost is the only basis that goes into it. So if the cost was 25 out of that 100, you still made 75, but that 75 was somebody else's money. In other words, if you didn't have the borrowed cash, you couldn't have done it. So it's either 75 or zero. Whereas that's where the leverage part of having access to private capital comes in, because I promise you, and I'll talk you through it a little bit more, you can get access to credit to get $100,000. And I'll to keep it real down to earth. Right now, we have about 70 some odd clients who are in the pipeline, and most will be getting somewhere between $50,000 and $75,000 in credit. So I won't even use 100. I might accidentally say it because it makes the math easy. But I want you to imagine, you're right. Matter of fact, Milt, since you're the only face I can see, I want you to imagine right now that you had $50,000 in credit that you could put into your business. to make more money with your business. Okay. Now, while I babble on for just a minute, I want you to come back to me and say, how would you utilize that $50,000? And let's just say after 12 months of having it and using it, about how much profit do you think you can make off of that? Because that's what we're talking about, turning good credit into profit. So while Milt conjures his answer for us, okay, I want you guys to be doing exactly the same thing. Think with me. All right, if you had $50,000 to either go into business or grow a business, or if you have $50,000 that you could use as down payment money, because on private mortgages, we can finance typically 70, 75% of the purchase, 100% of the rehab. So if you didn't, let's say if you're buying a $100,000 property, you need $30,000. Well, heck, you ain't got it in the bank right now. But what if your good credit could get you access to 50? You just need 30 to put down, and boom, you go buy this property that, let's just say with rehab and stuff, it goes from worth 100 to 150,000. All I'm saying is it was somebody else's money that you got access to because you had good credit that allows you to balloon the value of this property that you bought for 100 is now worth 150. So that $50,000 of equity, if you sell it, you capture it as profit. Or if you decide you want to refinance it, you could probably take about 15, 20,000 of it out, put in your pocket, and start reaping maybe $200-300 more positive cash flow that you carry on and on for a period of time. But I think Milt's had enough time to dream. And we love to say here at Private Money Syndicate, we power your dreams with private money. So Milt, what dreams did that $50,000 power for you?
For me, it would definitely include payroll. I mean, that would, you know, it would be a part of my business as far as, hiring, a person, I would say at a pretty reasonable rate,
Okay.
to come in and help me take on more clients, which would
Right.
generate more revenue, right? And so,
Okay.
that would be my strategy starting off with just, $50,000. I wouldn't try to break the bank, as they say, and try to, go too high too fast. I
Yeah.
would I would definitely, expand myself horizontally, because that way vertically I can cover more, when it comes back around. And so it would also, allow me to pay back the loan, right? And
Right.
establish more credit, and then come back for a larger amount later, which would be my strategy. That would be my strategy. I would play it safe at the beginning, with a, $30,000, a year, personnel that would come
Right.
in and would
Mhm.
help me. And then from there, we just grow, and then so, with that, I think that would be a good strategy for me in my field, because with technology, that's really, I have the technology, I have the actual technology, and I would probably use something more along the lines of a trade line, with a company, to be able to get more, equipment and stuff like that. And I know that, with the Private Money Syndicate, y'all take care of stuff like that too. And so,
Yes.
like, I would go that route for the equipment if I needed to do that. But definitely, if I just got the $50,000, I would definitely hire somebody. Yeah.
Okay. So you use that as working capital.
Yeah.
So let me use some of my HR management and other knowledge skills that I have. So typically in industries like technology, employers look at it like a 3-to-1 return on investment. So if he's paying somebody $30,000 a year, the cost is 30, so he want to generate $90,000. Right. So let's just keep it simple. Say it's 100. So you take out the 30, so that means he would net $70,000 in additional revenue,
Exactly.
because basically, if he can only service so many clients and doing the consulting, doing the website development, doing some of the other systems design that you do, now you got another person, so you increase capacity. So now basically he took $30,000, and let's just suppose now again the $30,000 went in to create the 100. All right, y'all. This math is simple to me. The 30,000, which was not his money,
Right.
went in to create the 100. All right, so
Mhm.
he's got to pay the 30,000 off. But now also he had to service the debt on the 30,000. So let's just say that it was at I'll say 20%. I'll just use that. All right, so 20% of 30. Well, no, he had 50. Okay, so he had
Right. 50.
50,000.
Yeah. Mhm.
20% of 30, he only used. He kept some of the bank. Good conservative businessman.
Right. Right.
I admire that. All right, but so he had to pay 10,000 over 12 months on the 50. So basically, we take another 10 off the 100, so it's 30 and 10 is 40. So he would net $60,000 in revenue, and he did that with out of what a Fugazi, okay.
Fugazi. Right.
Now let's take the
Fugazi.
corollary. Now I want to ask you this question, Milt. Now again, give me your. I mean, we're amongst friends. Everybody's a viewer. Now, how long? Let's talk about opportunity cost. Okay. Now, how long would it take you out of standing flat-footed right now to save up $30,000 to otherwise deploy into this thing that we just discussed?
Yeah,
Do you
it
think it
would
would
take.
take more than a year
It would take. Yeah, definitely.
to have it just sitting in the bank
With
to balance?
all. Right. With all things considered, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right. So what I have just put in front of you folks is at the end of 12 months, he could just have 30,000 saved up, ready to make the money, or he could have $60,000 sitting in his bank account right now after paying off the debt, after servicing the debt. Do you see how to take your good credit and turn it into profit? Now, if this makes sense to nobody but me, it makes all the sense in the world. But I know I'm talking to a bunch of intelligent people out here. See, we've been kind of, as Malcolm X would say it, we've been bamboozled, run amok, led astray when it comes to understanding what credit is all about. Credit is not for you to go buy the new Lexus. Credit is for you to go out here and build a business that buys the new Lexus. Do you understand? Does that make sense? We live in America. The whole economics, tax system, everything, capitalism is for you to take capital and make capital with it. Take the capital and make more money with it. Now, if you're an employee, you're an asset in somebody's operation. Okay. In other words, just like we used the analogy Milt was saying, if he hired a person, he might, in the scenario we just worked up, which is reasonable and realistic, he could make $60,000 of profit. So let's just say that you came to work for him. You get 30. You got to take out Social Security and taxes and all that. So after you got paid your 30, you probably got about 20 that you get to spend. And then you go out here and you buy a car. You're still probably renting with that income and buy a car, and you broke. All right. Here, he just made $60,000. All I'm saying is you could be him. The only difference is he had the good credit to go do it now instead of saving up and doing it 12 months from now. And if you and he had the same good credit, you and he had the same knowledge and experience, you and he took that same money, you might execute your strategy different than he would. But the fact of the matter is what got you the capital to do that is your good credit.
And just for
Somebody might say,
clarification, then the
yeah,
person at the end of that year with a great year like that, they get a raise. So they would
oh,
go up to about 50,000 themselves. So yeah,
all
yeah.
right. You probably do some profit sharing with them and stuff like that. Okay.
Right,
But
right,
you can't scare profit till you make profit. Okay.
right,
So
exactly. You would
every
get it. You
business
would
has
get
to
it
go
though.
through that trajectory. And
Hmm.
all I'm saying is what, and Milt, since you're my guinea pig, I can't use anybody else as an example. On the business side, I get the real estate in a moment. Most businesses never grow if they survive at all because they don't access and utilize credit. They keep trying to operate out of cash. Why you go to the financials? You can just go to which one is it? Is it you go to Bloomberg.com? You can go to any of these places and pull up, pick a company. Everybody likes Apple. You can go to Walmart and see how much debt they have. Money is dirt cheap now. These companies are borrowing money like crazy. Okay, but they're using it to retire expensive debt, to invest in other technology platforms, since now a lot of things
Yep.
are going digital and virtual and direct delivery. I mean, they're putting this money, and all that is doing is lowering their cost of operations, creating more profit. Have you noticed the stock? Y'all ain't been watching the stock market. I know you ain't been watching the stock market, but if you've been watching it up and up and up, there's over 32,000. I think it might have dropped, been on the high 31s, but when I was looking Thursday, I think it was like 32,000. That's
And
because,
Bitcoin hit 60,000. So it's
and I
a
don't understand Bitcoin yet, but yes.
so if you got in when it was 32,000, then you looking pretty good right now, So
Well, what I'm saying is, well, thank you for that, Milt. Is now just look at you, and I don't know you, but I'm talking to you like I do. You still in business, you got your money in the bank, you're making a little bit, but you don't have enough to invest to go to the next level. And you say, well, just using Milt's hypothetical analogy, you waiting to save up. So you're having a good year coming out of COVID. I'm gonna save up in 12 months from now. I'm gonna go hire me another person. Man, it's getting busy. You look at Milt, He's starting to get gray like me. He's so busy, man. He got all these clients and stuff coming in. All right. And he just can't handle it all. But he's going to wait a whole year when he's got enough profit versus just like this. You got a 700, 750 credit score. Daniel went and operating in the black. I don't know where Edwin comes in, but or Edward, but I know him as Daniel. In any case, operating in the black, our partner, they get you that $50,000, and you got the client tail waiting on this person to show up. See, that's what a smart businessman does. You ain't got to wait, maestro. You
Right.
could be in the green at the end of the year instead of saving up your green trying to get there.
Right.
See, and if you look at these big companies and what they're doing to deploy their debt, that's where if you look at their profitability, their earnings per share is ballooning. And that's why the government, to keep our economy alive, has been dropping interest rates to all-time lows to encourage, because one, they gotta circulate, create revenue for the government by taxes. And see, this is getting off the beaten path, but all this economic stimulus checks will be coming out. I was just telling somebody, I said, now all the car dealers, new and used, and this is kind of
Right.
like, the lottery win, tax refunds and stimulus checks all coming out at the same time. They sitting there salivating now. They hiring more salespeople because they
Right.
know these people come out here trying to buy these cars. Now, what happens? You get sales tax revenue, you get property tax revenue to municipalities. All these new cars, probably going to be burning. Those gas prices been going up. And of course, when you think about this, taxes are based on the amount of a transaction. So if gas went from $1.99 to $2.79 now the states get more motor fuel tax because all these things are interlaced. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're only becoming a fatted cow to be slaughtered in this economic system called capitalism, versus you taking the understanding of taking capital, starting a business, investing in real estate so that you are an active participant and benefactor of the system, you missing the party. You missing it. I'm just letting you know.
All right. Let's
And so,
let's take a minute and get with
yeah,
the
let me stop
get with the
preaching. Yes,
yeah. Let me cool you down, preacher. Let me cool you down a little bit.
take take a water break.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have some water. Have some water. So, you know, Victoria Patterson joined us. Said good morning, and
Hey,
she says,
Victoria.
credit score. Gave the thumbs up on that. She asked the question: what if a person wants to borrow $10,000? What would be the lending factors? And I think you kind of went into that when you went into the whole 50. But if you want to answer that
Okay,
question,
sure. Yeah. Um, and Milt mentioned something that will be part of this answer. One of the things that I like to state, and thank you, Victoria, is that every client interaction through the Private Money Syndicate starts off with a consultation. Because, and I'll take your question, is that most people only think of, if I want to buy something with the money, how much I need. But one of the things that we do is we ask, what are you going to do with the money? So when it comes to that underwriting, if you want to buy equipment, like Milt mentioned, then that's equipment financing. And it has a different underwriting profile, one of which is the FICO score doesn't have to be as high, because typically that equipment is going to be collateral, so it's secured, versus if it's a credit line. Now, a credit line is strictly unsecured. It's a facilitation where, let's just say, Victoria, this $10,000 was going to be allowed you to have access to it for the next 3 years. You can pay it, run it up, pay it down. It's very fluid, but that lender has to set that capital aside, whether you're using it or not. And obviously, the environment can change, the economy can change, all kind of things can change. So they have to risk that differently. So the rate might be higher, as well as, the underwriting requirements. They want to see a higher credit score for that particular capitalist. Another example would be if you had a contract. You can actually borrow against a contract as collateral. So from the standpoint, if you're going to use to buy something, or you want to have it as reserves, or if you're investing it into something that there's a direct relationship to revenue, for example, a contract, they're just fronting the money that's going to come in as you perform. So the risk is going to be a determinant of the FICO score they want to see, and the ranges can be as low as like 600, let's say 580, and we're doing something called a merchant cash advance. This is where they're looking at your actual revenue from looking at. Notice I said 580 now. 580. You're a business person. They want to see 3 or 6 months of your bank statements, see how much you got coming in, and they will loan you based on what they see your pattern of revenue is. The pattern of revenue is more important than FICO score. Let's take it all the way to the top of the tree, where we're looking at a 700 credit score for a credit line, where they don't really look at much of the way of your business. They just look at your credit score, look at your income, which could be your personal income. Let's say if it's $40,000 a year or better, or your business income, and then say, okay, based on that, we'll just let you have a chunk of money, and it's yours to control over the next 2 years, 3 years, or what have you. And there's a lot of different uses of funds in between. So going back to the $10,000, one of the things we want to know is, what are you going to do with the money? And that tells a lot about what the underwriting is going to be involved, what underwriting is going to be involved in determining and approving the financing. But that was a good question. It allowed me to mix a few things in there that kind of get the depth.
Kind
So
of
for
bring it
you
all together.
yeah, as a client, like I said, call, schedule a consultation. You might be sitting here with a multi-million-dollar idea and not follow through. I want to tell you this true story. I had a client who had developed a product that she had developed probably 8 or 9 years ago, and she had several businesses approach her about licensing, and she just didn't know enough about it to make any commitments to anybody. And so she wanted to get a patent attorney to negotiate a license contract. We helped her to get the funding for her to get a SBA loan that she could use to pay the attorneys, because patent attorneys ain't cheap. $50,000 is a retainer. But, if she's got this thing that she gets licensed and she makes $1 per unit, somebody else is manufacturing it, putting in the distribute, doing all that stuff. She's just collecting a royalty check, but all those years, because she was, I guess the wisdom in her perspective was, I don't know enough. I don't want to get screwed by agreeing to something that's not appropriate. She wanted to have some representation, but she knew she didn't have the money, but she had the good credit, and we were able to get her to finance. So now, this was probably about 6-7 months ago. I need to follow up and see where this is a process. That's just an example, a multi-million-dollar idea that somebody was sitting on money. Say, for lack of knowledge, my people shall perish. Can I get an amen? All I'm saying is that we have the information to help you to make the money moves that you need to make by taking your good credit and turning it into profit. All right. We have any other questions?
We got a few people coming in the chat too. So
okay.
Zane Perry says good morning.
Hey Zane,
joining us. Darnell Collins came in. Good morning, brother. He says, good morning, my brothers. The Godfather is like E.F. Hutton. When he speaks, we need to listen. Tony is dropping dimes all over the place. We need to pick it up and cash it in.
All right. Thank you, Darnell.
Victoria comes back and says positive cash flow. So yes, she was talking about, this was a few minutes ago, when I was talking and stuff like that. Vassandra comes in. She says credit score plus income equals capital is what I have discovered. So yep, she's giving testament to what you were saying. Dorothy Catalier says sure does make sense. So she comes in. Yep. Victoria comes back and says, yes, it makes sense to me. You got to execute the strategy. And she says, thank you for your knowledge. Dorothy says, amen. Daniel said, amen. Victoria says, I'm not sitting on my idea anymore. So sounds like she's going to be calling you here pretty soon. So, yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate y'all's amens. Now, hang around. We're going to pass the plate here before we finish the show.
Right. The doors of the church are open. The
doors are open. Yes, indeed. Well, and I appreciate y'all giving feedback that this is resonating. But I'm really passionate about it because I didn't understand this for years, and it's kind of like things start happening around you, and you see it, and then there's that epiphany to where kind of like static electricity, all of a sudden it turns to that lightning bolt, that spark. It's like, okay, because I grew up in the country. I tell stories that I won't bore you with them, but I had never had a credit. I had bought a house. I don't know how many cars I ever had a credit card. I was always cash. I always say, if I ain't got the money in my pocket, I don't need it, stuff like that. But then when I started investing in real estate, I didn't really still comprehend it, other than the fact that the first 3 properties, first Yeah, three properties I bought with my dad. Now this was back in the wild west of the 2006, 7, and 8s. We paid. My dad had an 850 credit score, and God bless his eternal soul. He died about soon to be 3 years ago. But we put no money down, none, not a dollar. Just straight up eight, boom, Miss Calloway, you're good to go. So the deal that we had was because he was retired, house paid off. He was retired from the Air Force Reserves, retired from civil service. My mom retired from teaching, and so Uncle Sam was eating them up. So I'd say, okay, Dad, you get the tax write-offs and everything. If there's any positive cash flow, I keep the cash, and then we sell a property or if we refinance any cash that comes out, we'll split it 50-50. He was cool with that. So, back then what we would do is buy the properties. Like y'all heard me talk about flipping properties. I said flipping after the third one, I realized, oh God, I hate this. I hate dealing with the contract. I hate dealing with the owner occupant buyers and stuff. I rather just hold them and rent them. But the fact of the matter is, it finally dawned on me, dang, so this is, I mean, we split in $30,000, $40,000, and had invested not a dime, NDT. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. So for my point is that we created profit. We turned his good credit into profit. Okay. And I was the mastermind of the whole thing, So, and let me make another connection for you guys. The blessing that we have here at Private Money Syndicate, we got some great folks working together, and it's a joy and a blessing that you just cannot appreciate as dearly as I do. I mean, I love this guy, Daniel, Sandra. I mean, Nikki. I don't know if she's on there. I can't remember him saying. And there are several other people on the team. But we work as a cooperative so that we bring all the other resources together that allow for anybody who has a good idea, who has a business, or who's a real estate investor or aspiring to be a real estate investor, can get into the economics of capitalism, because we have what you might be missing. But what we don't know is we might not know you. We might not know what it is you're trying to do, but our purpose, passion, and mission is to help to create to power your dream. And I mean, there's a joy and satisfaction that all of us get from being part of that process, because these guys are helping to power mine, I'm helping to power theirs, and we just need to expand this footprint of the things that we're doing. But bringing it back to my dad, he always had a good credit, I suppose. I mean, to the extent I became aware of it, I had all these ideas about investing in real estate and stuff. I had gone to training, bought the carton sheets, courses, and gone to workshops and invested thousands and thousands of dollars, but I didn't have the cash. And being a self-employed entrepreneur, which I get to this before we run out of time today, I didn't have the credit because of all my personal credit. But so we put what I had, the knowledge, what he had, the credit. We went into the environment, which then, if you got good credit, real estate's going crazy, crazy, crazy. You go in here, you get in the pool, all right, start swimming, making the money, and that's what we did for about 5 years. And still, even after the flips and stuff, had 3 properties that we were renting out, which I've liquidated 2. We're down to 1. All right. So, all I'm saying is that we're in an economic environment now that's somewhat akin to that. Now, unlike, I'll say real estate is definitely rising, but I'm telling you guys, if you have not gotten a credit line, you're double done. Please don't feel insulted, because I'm telling you, if you don't have a credit line right now, what you need to do is let us help you to fix your credit. We have magicians. I didn't call them doctors. I said magicians. See, we understand, Daniel understands exactly what your credit profile needs to look like, knows what your credit score needs to look like to get you a credit line. Now, if it don't look like that, but for 30 days, and it goes back to what it was, like I said, good enough. If your credit is good enough or long enough for you to get that credit line, come on. All I'm telling you is the money's on the other side of the 700. The money is on the other side of the 750. What you got to do is understand that if you on this side and the money's on that side, why stay when you got somebody going to help you get to the other side? This is kind of like Harriet Tubman telling you, hey, come north with me. It's freedom up there, y'all. Come on with me. And y'all, no, we don't know about all that, This is literally the
Queen Tubman. Queen Tubman.
So what I'm saying is, let's dream or what you can do if you had, and then let us work together to get you situated so that you can get it. This is all about solving for X. It's a solution set that we have to establish based on the problem that you got. So until you tell me what your illness is, I can't prescribe nothing for you.
It is a
Okay?
little bit of math. It is a little bit
Yeah.
of math to it.
But we had the folks who can figure it out. All you got to do is
Right.
the 4 words, I know a guy. Call, schedule your consultation, privatemoneysyndicate.com. Milt has put literally 200 buttons on our website for you to schedule an interview. I mean, you got to try to get past the schedule of consultation buttons to see what's on the website. But
Right.
that's I appreciate that, because we want to talk to you. We don't want you to hit a link and fill out a form and oops and wonder to see what's going to happen. No, we are strategic about this daggone thing. I'm like Denzel Washington in Training Day. I'm strategic.
I'm
I'm
surgical
strategic.
with it.
I'm
Surgical with it.
surgical. That's what I'm trying. I'm surgical
I'm
with it,
surgical
Jake.
with this thing, Jake.
I want it.
Right, right.
So we got any other comments in the chat or questions or shout outs?
Victoria's just giving her thumbs up again to everything that you're saying. Daniel came back in and said, "Private Money Syndicate offer cash with compassion." Right, and I think that's a great point that Daniel makes about that, because you know attending some of the workshops that you do for your flip money not houses.
Yeah,
When you were talking about that, and you were talking about it a couple of shows ago as well, where some people will come with deals, that, yeah, if you were just looking to get a quick buck from them
mm,
just getting the deal, then you would have just went ahead and just let them go ahead and get it. But instead
yeah,
of that, you used your expertise and your knowledge and compassion to let them know, hey, this you could do this, but it's not going to be exactly what you're looking for. And so
right,
let's give it some more time and be patient about it. Be business minded about it. Use business acumen, to get the best deal and not just the quickest deal, basically.
right.
So yeah.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And if there are no other questions or comments, let me segue briefly to real estate as it relates to, again, turning your good credit into profit. And I made mention to my dad and I, but let me speak specifically to the current environment and strategy. Now, and Milt mentioned we have a small coaching group, our Flipping Money Not Houses coaching program. And I want to congratulate Kendez Parker and Kawazi L up in LaGrange, Georgia, who bought their first property week before last, somewhere during the week they closed. And so now they're going through the beginnings of the rehab project process and those kind of things. And
Good guys,
so,
good guys.
they're the first. I got to also give a shout out to Reginald Wetner, because he's probably put in offers on about 8 or 9 properties, but he keeps getting outbid and stuff like that. But it's all part of the game. And what you have to look at it is, okay, I've got my equipment, and I've never played football, but I got my helmet, got my pads and cleats, and I got my ball. Okay, I can get out here on the field now. And all these guys who are in this program have come and gotten credit lines. And there are several other people in the program who've gotten their credit lines as well. I'm just shouting out to them because I'm making heroes out of my heroes. Okay, they're in there really getting after it. And the rest of y'all who hear this, don't feel jealous, get busy. Okay, but from the standpoint that they're not doing this with their cash. They've gotten credit lines. They're out there in the marketplace buying for opportunity. All right, and the strategy that we use in Flipping Money Not Houses is you buy a house that's got enough issues or enough distress to where you can go in and fix it up and increase the value enough to not only pay off all the debt that was the hard money loan that was used to do the rehab, the credit line capital that was used as the down payment money, but also be able to put some money in your pocket and still have a positive cash flow. So you got income now from the rehab and cash out refinance, and you got cash over time. And then if you decide to sell the property down the road, 5 years or whatever, the market keeps going up, you can have cash later. Our partner, Richard Roop, who comes on, talks about that, actually going out and raising your own private money, which is an option. But I'm saying there are people who are willing to lend it to you if you got a 700 credit score. 6, 1/2 dozen of the other. And that 700 credit score fixes a lot of other things in your life. Your car insurance will go down. If you're trying to rent an apartment or something, you'll probably get approved. your electric bill, if you're trying to go in and move, if you're renting, your deposits and all those things they look at your credit score. If you're trying to get a good job, if you're trying to get a securities clearance, all those things are affected by having a good or affected negatively by having a less than perfect credit score. Now, again, I mentioned our magicians. We have other programs because these guys, they do it. They do a great job. They do it, but they're not cheap. I'm not saying they're crazy expensive, but we're after an outcome. We're trying to get you to the other side. Now, I know some of y'all say I can fix it myself, and certainly, all I'm saying is time is money. So while you taking 12 months to get to 700, we could have got you to 700 in 30 days and had $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $50,000 in your pocket while you up there scratching your head and letting time go by. Come on, let's start getting real. This time may not last always. Okay, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to wake you up. As my good friend Nikki Johnson McNeil says, I'm trying to get you woke. You gotta be woke to what time it is. Okay, I know time is changing tomorrow or tonight or whatever, but I'm saying times have changed and they will change again. So please realize if you don't have a $50,000 credit line right now for your LLC, and if you don't have an LLC, get one. But if you don't have, and if it's because you don't have a 700 credit score, we can make that happen quick, fast, and in a hurry. All you need to do is schedule a consultation with Private Money Syndicate. Milt did not put all those buttons on our website for nothing. They're not there for decorations. They are functional and for you to schedule an appointment to talk to me so we can get you where you need to be before the end of 2021. And I don't know if we got any other questions or comments, but before I go launching off in some other rant.
Victoria just says, time is money. So, she's just kind of echoing what you're saying, time is money. So, and what that looks like, everybody, because I think some people even get confused about that term. Like, time is money because the time that you spend on whatever it is that you're doing can equal money, right? So as long as you're investing it into something that's going to actually bring some money, then time is going to be money. So you don't want to waste your time when you're looking for money. You got to use your time strategically so that you can create make money, right?
Exactly.
That's how you want to look at that. She says, "Thanks, Milton. No problem, no problem. You're welcome."
Now,
Thank you.
I want to ask a question, and whoever cares to respond, all of you can. I just want to kind of get a feel. I would like for y'all to put into the chat, what is it that has kept you from having a $50,000 credit line? What is it that's kept? Is it you hadn't thought about it? Is it that you didn't think your credit was good enough? Is it because you don't have a business? What's keeping you from getting your $50,000? Everybody's was waiting for Biden and them to sign the $1.9 trillion. Wait, because we all gonna get a check, right? Okay, so all I'm saying is, all right, that's the check that the government's gonna give us to help stimulate the economy. But your economy, I'm telling you, is within your control. That $1,400 ain't gonna go very far. But $50,000 put into the right business idea, into the right opportunity. I just told you, one lady used it to license her, to get the attorney to help license the idea that she had. Her idea could be worth millions of dollars to her and her family for future. What's kept you from getting your 50,000? All right. And so if you just put whatever it is in the chat, we'll make your, just put anonymous if you don't want anybody to say your name. But I do want to know, because I told you that once upon a time, what kept me from having capital, using credit and stuff like that, was the way I was raised. You don't want to owe nobody nothing. All right. So from that standpoint, I mean, it's like I never financed anything because I really didn't like having payments, because that's something else I got to remember to do. I think I told a story about I had gotten this loan. I'll tell it again for those. My mother, after I got stationed in Fort Bend, said, "Go to the credit union, get a loan. You need to build your credit." I'm like, "For what?" But anyway, okay, Mom. All right. So I went, opened up an account, and then I was paying on it. Then I paid like 3 months of payments all at one time. And the next month, the credit union said, "Miss Calloway, we didn't get your payment." I said, "Yeah, I paid y'all 3 months." "Well, you have to pay every month." "Why?" They said, "Because that's where it works." I said, "Well, I ain't paying y'all for 2 more months because I already paid you." And because I didn't know. And then when I went to buy a house, they had it on my credit report, they had 3 missed payments. I'm arguing with the lady. I said, "No, I did not pay them." I didn't understand. Right. But my point is there are a lot of things we don't understand, not about credit score. And I'm telling you about how to use this thing, like Milt said, like it's surgical, how to be surgical with it. Okay. We teach people at Private Money Syndicate how to get this thing called capital through credit, not savings, and how to be surgical with it to create profit. And unless you don't want profit, if you don't want profit, don't call me. Okay. But if you do want profit, you better call me. All right, so schedule consultation. So, Milt, did we get any comments on that?
No, Victoria just says I don't currently have a LLC, but we can help you with that too, Victoria. So make sure you go to the button, like you said, press the button.
Push the
Just push the button.
daggone button.
Push the button. Just push the button.
We have all these references to these
Yeah,
movies.
yeah, like Rush Hour. You know, like the little girl
I
said,
think
push
we're
the
going to
button.
push the button.
Push
Okay.
the button. Yeah, push the button. So yeah, yep. Just push the button,
Oh,
and we'll come through. Definitely.
all right, folks. Well, look, I think I've exhausted myself this morning. I want to let Milt talk to you all about your technology. Because, like I said, because after you get your LLC, you need to get your website. You know, let us get the LLC. Let's get you the capital. Let us get you the website so you can put your ideas, your products, your services out there into the world and participate in capitalism. Let me say this now, shut up. I'll let Milt close out and take us home. You are in capitalism, whether you're in it as a capitalist or whether you're in it as a consumer. If you're a consumer, then you're being consumed by the profiteers who are the capitalists who are using capitalism the way it was designed. Now, in as much as we're in a democratic society, we're also in a democratic economy. Each and every one of you should have an LLC, should have an EIN, should have all your business over there on business. You ought to have your business leasing and paying for your car, paying for your gas, paying for your maintenance, and you should be writing that off on your taxes instead of, and you know this, you heard it, you just don't know how to do it. Now, I hadn't had a car in almost 20 years, but my next one will not be mine. It will be Calloway and Associates
Right.
will own the
Be the
car that I will
business.
drive, but they will be paying for it. Okay.
Be a
All I'm
business
saying is
asset. That's right.
it's a business asset. Okay. So I'm saying get in business. We will help you. And so I appreciate you tuning in today. Like I said, turn your good credit into profit. And if you don't have good credit, we can help you to get good credit, get your $50,000, get your business so you can get your profit. That's the path. Those are the steps, and we'll help you to do it. So with that, I'll turn it over to Maestro to share some thoughts, give you some more love, and I'll let him take you home. But thank you all for your attention today.
Yeah, and thank you, Tony. And definitely, all the things that you said today, resonates with me. Lessons I've learned, things I've seen, things I've learned from you. I mean, it's really critical for us to start putting these things in perspective and to start utilizing this knowledge that we have, because we need. And I always tell people this, like in our communities, we need everything. So that if you're confused as to what you want to start your business about, too, just point somewhere and you'll find it, because we need everything in our
Yes.
communities. We need ownership of everything in our communities. So we need all types of services, all types of products. So just pick one and then get you started, and then, move from there. But from my standpoint, and like Tony was saying, when you're talking about your websites and everything, yes, we can help you with that. We can help you get that set up. If it's e-commerce, if you're trying to sell products online, there are all types of if you want to build apps, to have an app, you got an app, a great idea for an app. Tony can get you financing, and we can get you started. We can get you built. Another thing I want everybody to take into consideration, because I know everybody sees the headlines all the time, is the cybersecurity. It's very paramount that you get that taken care of, especially from a business standpoint. Because if you want to be sitting on the beach handling your business from anywhere in the world, you want to make sure that it's safe. You want to make sure that your information is safe. You want to make sure that all of your documents are safe. And so you want to make sure that you have somebody that's going to help you facilitate those dreams that you have, and we can do that. So with that, Tony, you want to let them know what they should be doing?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. If you're going to go into business and if you're going to stay in business, folks, you've got to mind your business, which means you have to have one. But
Right,
hey, I
right.
appreciate you, and I appreciate you, Maestro. Another great job, man. Keep that smile and keep us going. Appreciate y'all. Hey, I want to say this: in another month and 6 weeks from now, we will have made a full year, 52 episodes of the
That's
Mind
right.
Your Business show. So as we build toward that, we still haven't got to
Anniversary.
100,000. We haven't got to 100,000. We need each and every one of you to commit to me as a favor for you to share this with at least 5 people who care about business, who care about real estate investing, who really need to know this message, and ask them to like and follow the show because we believe that we add value and we want to get these numbers to where they reflect you guys because you're the reason why we get up here on Saturday mornings and get to share what God has blessed me to know and experience and learn so that it does not go waste. You've heard the parable about the seeds, right? All right, so I believe that I'm scattering my seeds on some good soil for those of you, but I got plenty of seeds, and so I need plenty more soil to scatter. Okay, so y'all be the good and faithful servants and spread the good word. Thanks again, Milt.
All right. Thank you. And we'll see you on the next one, everybody. Have a great weekend. Take care and be safe.